I believe there comes this phase in one's life where you just feel like you can't go on no more. No drive, no push, no motivation, no more determination. Just a lame old routine of waking up and showing up regardless until the point where you can't go on anymore. This is exactly what happened to me in the last few months, and I'm going to be sharing that in this video. I hope it helps someone out there. Oh, last time it's
Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Oto-Obong. For those of you who are new, and I create faith and lifestyle content. And if this is probably something that you are interested in, do not forget to click on the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you would not miss any updates from this channel. I remember sometime back in, I think, January, when I was preparing to go to the university. That was like the very first time I was going to university. So I was literally going to the people I look up to, like, I'm going to school, sir, I'm going to school, ma. And then they'll talk to me, they'll pray for me, they'll advise me. That's how it was. So during this whole process, I went to meet one of my daddies. I call him my daddy because he's kind of like a model to me and also my music coach, yeah, Joe Smart. So I went to meet him and we were talking and all. He said something which I remembered during this whole phase that I went through, and that was a man of God or a minister of God is like a rolling fan. Okay, now you know when you unplug a fan from the source, or if it's like a singing fan and then there's power outage, the fan is not just going to stop rolling immediately, it's going to keep on rolling and rolling gradually until it comes to a stop. And then he said that's how a minister of God is. So when you turn your back from God, or when you disconnect from God, when you begin to focus on other things instead of God, the power of God upon your life is not just going to go immediately. It's going to take like a gradual process until it's finally vivid. It's just like fire. When you put it out, there's still going to be smoke until everywhere is clear. So what he was literally trying to tell me was that whatever the situation, I should not neglect my relationship with God. If not, yes, the fire of God will still be in me, but it's like a rolling fan until the point where I notice that, oh, right, God's hands is no longer with me. And then that's when I begin to break down, get drained, become emotionally exhausted. The things that I do so easily before become so hard for me. Now, why am I saying this whole thing? If you remember, I said that it was during the phase I was going through that I remembered. So sometime 2 months ago, I think back in June, that was the time I posted my last video before I had to go on a break. Yeah. I actually noticed that I was burning out, I was drained, I was becoming exhausted at things that was like very, very simple for me. Like there came a point where I literally wrote down my journal, like I actually didn't write the dates, but man. So I am actually in a confused state right now. It's been a month and I haven't shot any videos. I am out of ideas, although there's one idea in my head right now and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it was just like that. Like I am not, if probably you know me or you are close to me, you probably know this about me, that I am not this kind of person that runs out of content. Like I am inspired by every single thing. Even if a rat is running around this whole house, that can even give me an inspiration on the content to create. I just think that that's one of the gifts that God has given me. That's when I got to remember what he actually told me. I think it came to a point in my content creation journey where I completely like lost focus on why I was here and began to focus on the other things that was around me, focus more on views, focus more on subscribes, focus more on likes and comments. If I release a video, if I upload a video and that video does not have so much likes, I'll be like, all right, maybe it's not God that gave me this video idea, or maybe, oh no, this video does not make sense. But even if I shoot a video like that ASU strike video that I did not want to post initially, I was like, nah, this video does not make sense. But when I put it out there and I saw so many views, right, I was like, oh wow, this video actually makes sense. What am I trying to say? That it came to a point where people people's opinions or people's views, subscribes, likes, and everything on my videos, and this whole thing that I started became my validation. God was not my validation anymore. I even think this had a negative turn on my relationship with God because my main source, I had disconnected from Him, and then began to focus on validation that people would give me, or validation that likes, subscribes, and these things are actually normal anyway. Yes, but when that becomes more of your focus than your major focus, then something is actually wrong. And I think that is a sign to show that you're actually tired. Yeah, you begin to lose focus on the things that matter and begin to focus more on insignificant things. That's a huge sign that you're tired, you're drained, you're worked up. I think it was Pastor Furtick that said something like
Because
that.
when you get too tired, you start fighting battles that don't matter to distract you from the ones that
And I believe most of us have found ourselves in situations like this. So that's why I decided to come out to share my story. What do you have to do when you're in that kind of situation? Retreat, rest, recharge. Now, what is retreat? This is like to withdraw, to move back. In simple terms, retreat is just take a break. And I believe that this is something that a lot of people don't like doing. We don't want to take a break because to people who are high taxed, or I don't know, multitasking and all of that, we feel like taking a break makes us less competent or not so serious with our jobs, or if I take a break, I'll lose my audience, or I'll lose my, for those of us that are working, for those of us that have small businesses, if I take a break, my customers will probably find better places to buy their things, or if I take a break, this, that, if I do take a break, so we always don't want to take a break. But the thing about not taking a break is that when you deny yourself the break that you need, it will eventually come back to break you down. Because hello, sweetheart, we're not created to work all around the clock. If God could work for like 6 days and rest on the seventh day, then why do you expect His creation not to also retreat, not to also take a break? I want us to read this passage, because I don't want it to just be me speaking. I want us to have a biblical reference so that we can really understand. John chapter 4, verse 1 to the end, but we're definitely going to get to the end. So I'm going to be reading from Message version, and it says in verse 1, Jesus realized that the Pharisees were keeping count of the baptisms that he and John performed. Verse 2, although his disciples, not Jesus, did the actual baptizing, they had posted the score that Jesus was ahead, turning him and John into rivals in the eyes of the people. Verse 3, so Jesus left the Judean countryside and went back to Galilee. In verse 3, what did Jesus do? He left. He retreated. Now, the next step here is rest. So, verse 4, to get there, he had to pass through Samaria. Verse 5, he came into Sychar, a Samaritan village that borders the field Jacob had given his son Joseph. So I'm going to read verse 6 in Amplified Version. And Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, tired as he was from his journey, sat down to rest. He sat down to do what? To rest. So we cannot be exempted from these things. All right, we need to rest sometimes. We need to give our bodies the rest that it deserves. Now, when I mean rest as in rest, not like, because I know some people would be like, all right, I'm on a break, I'm on a vacation, and they'll still carry some of the things pertaining to work, pertaining to office files, and every other of their things to where they're taking the vacation, and that's not rest, that's self-deceit. No offense. And then it doesn't even have to be a vacation. It doesn't have to be going to the best spa or the best restaurant or anything. It doesn't have to be that big, because a lot of people will feel like, all right, rest is just for the rich alone. The poor or the middle class, we're meant to hustle and hustle and hustle until we die or something like that. I don't know. I'm just. But that's not true, alright? God gave us two eyes. We can close it. We can sleep. I mean, where did Jesus rest? He rested on a well. You will. Stop using your condition as an excuse that you're not there yet. It does not mean you're not going to get there. All right. This is just a chapter in our story, and this chapter is very vital because it's going to lead to other chapters. And if we continue to stick with God, we're going to have beautiful, beautiful endings. Amen. So thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, I know you guys are surprised. Like, why are you telling us thank you? You not said the last point. I'll be talking about recharge, the last point, in my next video because it's yeah, it's a whole different story altogether. So I don't want this video to be longer than it already is. So stay tuned to this channel, and I pray God gives us the grace to retreat when necessary and rest. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.